Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit ClassyCommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
I think we're going to see a video here of Bob Proctor and my partner here, John Gage. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Are we ready to have some fun today?
PR Connections Radio presents.
I guess you can be very successful without one, and probably some people do. But I would not have accomplished anywhere near what I have accomplished without a mentor. I have had a number of mentors, and my whole life has changed dramatically. I went from going nowhere to having a business that operates all over the world. If you want to win in a big way, you want to get a mentor. It's almost like getting a direct pipeline from their mind to your mind, where you're gaining all their wisdom, all their experience, and all the studying that they've done over a number of years. And like that, you get it all in a short period of time. Are mentors important? Well, I'm going to tell you, mentors literally changed the course of my life. Let's take a look at what thinking into results is and what it could do for you, how it came about. You see, my life had changed dramatically. I went from earning nothing to earning over $1 million a year. And I was sitting one day and I was thinking, how did all this happen? Do you know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was studying Earl Nightingale's material. But a lot of people have read those books and studied Earl's material. And they weren't accomplishing what I was accomplishing. So I had to ask myself, what am I doing so different? You see, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. I was earning over $1 million a year, and I didn't think I was that bright. I was also raised to believe if you don't go to school, you can't win. Well, I hadn't gone to school. I went to high school for about 2 months. I didn't have a good job. I owned the entire company. If you want to be happy, healthy, and prosperous, it's all here. Thinking into results is going to show you how to get it. If what I've said really triggered something in your mind and you're thinking maybe, contact the certified PGI consultant, hit the button, leave the information, do yourself a favor, sit down and talk to them about what this program can do for you. This very well could be the decision that will change the rest of your life.
Thank you, Bob. And we're back, John. And a little bit more about Bob. The thing I like about Bob is his motto. If you can tell me what you want, I can show you how to get it. And I like to say, not tell you how to get it, he's going to show you how to get it. And that's what our program is about, thinking in the results. Change your thinking, change your results. And Bob was able to launch his business career from reading this little book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the fellow that gave him the book told him to read it every day. He said,
I have a copy too.
Thank you, John. Ray Sanford was the individual that gave Bob the book and told him to read it every day. And he said that Napoleon Hill spent 20 years interviewing approximately 500 successful people in America in all fields of life, looking to put together what's the, let's say, the success principles. And he has 12 of them and said nobody had all 12, but everybody had obviously had some of them. But there was one common thing that everybody had in common. They thought about what they wanted all day long. Now, when I first heard that, I'm thinking, yes, but they're working. How can they be thinking about it all day long? And then I realized, well, there's a greater power when we know what we want and we're pursuing it with our activities, our subconscious, I'm going to call it the God consciousness, is bringing us ideas, because just that our intention for the goal and taking steps, building whatever we're doing, is giving off this vibration to the universe and attracting what we want. Today, I just want to quickly review with you the ABC goals. And the A goal is the one that you know you can do because you've done it before. The B goal is one that you've got a great idea, you've been thinking about it, you got a plan of some sort, and if everything turns out perfectly, you achieve it. Well, that doesn't happen. There's always a challenge, a roadblock comes up, and there's no inspiration in that goal, and you let it go. What we want to talk about is the C goal. John, what was your C goal?
Well, my sea goal was, I don't know, about almost 40 years in the making. And we talked about it several times, but I've always been told you have a wonderful voice. And it was never an attainable goal to me. It was something that's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I got a good voice, but that takes talent. That takes, you got to have more luck. The world's not fair. Everything's unfair. I had a real poor mindset, but it was something that was. You think about it, and you tell your family, what if I could become a voice actor? And they're like, yeah, but you know how unattainable that goal is. It's your imagination is going off the charts. Come back into the real world. These are all things that I was told, and I'm sure you ran into that. I'm sure you folks out there have ran into that. I mean, you think of something and you're like, oh my God, that's a great idea. And then you don't write it down.
John, can we? I want to throw back to you the Napoleon Hill quote. One of the ones that you really like about what can the mind do?
The mind can do anything it puts its mind to. But you become whatever you think about, and that's one of Napoleon Hill's goals. And you mentioned that was the mind becomes whatever you think about. And if you've got enough faith, enough imagination, these are all things that are part of that magical mixture. The imagination portion of it, everything that's around us was once somebody's imagination, and it wouldn't have become reality if they hadn't have taken the first step, which is writing it down. That's the first step to your goal. And if you write your goals down, you're 95% ahead of everybody else. And if you think you can do it, you can. And this is a part of that quote. And if you think you can't do it, you can't, because you're right in both aspects of that, which is the basic belief that Napoleon Hill shared with us. And it's kind of the underlying teachings are in this book here. Think and grow rich. Huh. What do you think?
Well, we were talking. Thank you, John. We were talking the other day about the first step,
right?
And then we have an idea, a fresh idea. I like to say it's your imagination comes into your mind, and you're thinking about it, and you have made a decision because you're kind of mulling it around, and at some point you're ready to take some action. And the first step is writing it down. Once you've written it down, things can happen. And we have a 6-step process from Thinking and Grow Rich. Number 1, to know what you want. Number 2, when do you want to have it? Number 3, what are you going to do for it? What service are you going to provide, or what are you going to be selling? And number 4 is your plan. Now, I want to say your plan's not going to be fully developed, or it could be fully developed, but it's still, the goal always remains the same, but plans change. So where you're standing right now when you're writing down what you want, when you want it, what you're going to give for it, whatever plan you have, you don't have to wait for something that's bigger that you're sure is going to work.
Right.
And then you write this out in a paragraph, in a nice paragraph of, again, what you want, when you want it, what you're going to give for it, and what your current plan is. Write it out, and then read it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, and read it in front of the mirror in the bathroom, and read it out loud, and put some emotion into it. I use the expression with passion and unbridled enthusiasm. And that little expression came to me years ago, and I share it a lot. And I can't help it but smile whenever I say unbridled enthusiasm, because I'm always picturing that young colt galloping across the meadow. And that's what I'm suggesting, to bring that emotion to it. And the purpose of reading that goal over and over again is the repetition to create a burning desire. So you've been writing it down, you got a plan, but you still might not have done anything else. But once you reach that burning desire of the passion for that goal, then wonderful things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some difficulties that come up. And one is the paradigm, your habitual habits in your subconscious mind, your programming. And John, you're going to tell me a little bit about the subconscious mind and its effect on what we do?
Well, the subconscious mind is an extremely stubborn creature. It has its own reality. It believes a specific way, and it will do everything in its power to undermine your conscious mind, because your conscious mind is like a child. Your subconscious, when the child is in its development stage from like 1 to 6, all they do is absorb, and this is what they, and this becomes their reality. Well, the subconscious is kind of like that. It just absorbs, and it only believes one thing. And then you have the conscious mind, so it conflicts. And this conflict, I think we call it X and Y, the X being your reasoning in your conscious mind, and the Y being the variable that you want to accomplish. And when your conscious mind starts arguing with the subconscious mind, it creates a conflict. We call that the fear barrier. And that's one of the hardest things for people to get through, is the fear barrier. And believe me, I understand how that works. And what we do is show you the steps required to do that. And the steps are literally putting, I think we've talked about this in the past too. You put one foot in front of the other. I think there was a song from Santa Claus is Coming to Town, when the evil warlock became good because he got a choo-choo train and he didn't know what to do. And Chris Klingle started saying, "Put one foot in front of the other, and you'll be walking across the floor. Put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door." And then boom. And that's the way it works. It starts out slow, but you got to start walking. You have 360 degrees to hit that goal that you just imagined and wrote down and made a plan for. And it can be confusing if you try to sort it out. If you just start walking the path and start heading that direction, and allowing your faith, allowing your belief, allowing that higher power to guide you, you'll find that path, because the only way you're going to fail is if you quit. And we quit at the terror barrier. And the terror barrier is, or fear barrier. And let me explain fear a little bit. You mind if I do that?
No, of course. You're the you're the fear expert.
Yeah, I've been through a lot of it.
You've overcome it.
But fear, whether it has this chemical reaction, has an effect on the body. And it doesn't matter if it's a thought causing the fear, or if you're looking at a 800-pound Bengal tiger 3 inches from your face and trying to figure out how to get out of that situation. Your body has the same chemical reaction as that facing that tiger. Now, it's a little trickier getting through the tiger, but one of your favorite sayings is, if you want to accomplish something you've never done before, you have to do something you've never done before, which creates a fear barrier, which creates a learning experience for you. You will probably make mistakes. 95% of us do. If you happen to get it right the first time, you're on that outlier, boy, I'm telling you. But most of us and most humans have to learn from our experiences. Our failures are actually learning experiences. It just means you haven't failed in your goal. That plan didn't work. So what did I learn from it? What good did I get from it? And where do I need to redirect in that 360 degrees that we have? And that's what we show you how to do. We show you how to do that and change this up here, so you're not facing that Bengal tiger every day. So
You're reminding me when you said the 360, because I've used that a lot. You've got the goal, you're not sure how to get there, and you know the first step is writing it down. Repetition and ideas will come to you. So whichever degree you start with, your journey is not a straight line. And if you have the faith and doing, I like to say, when the thoughts come to you, to recognize them, to doing something new, trying something new, and your subconscious doesn't want you to do something new.
Well, and may I inject real quick?
Sure.
When you're thinking about it all the time, the thoughts come to you more regularly.
Yes.
That's part of the thinking all the time.
Well, another thought is the common denominator of success, which is in line with what we're talking about. The successful people have created habits that unsuccessful people don't want to do. So I'd heard that expression for years, and then when I met Bob, and he said, "But the successful people don't like doing them either." But they do them. Why? Because they know what they want, and they're committed to do whatever it takes to get it. We use the example of difference between interested in something and being committed. When you're interested in something, you do what's convenient.
Right.
When you're committed, you're stepping into that unknown and facing the terror barrier. And to know that that's happening, from what we're showing you, how to overcome it with the repetition, it gets easier and easier, but still can pop its head up. My best example, an example I like, and this goes back years ago. A friend of mine was taking a speech class with Dale Carnegie, but I think they're still out there. That's a speech class for adults. And my friend was a manager in his company, and the company was paying for it. So there's about 20, 25 guys in the room, or women managers, and they had to stand up and introduce themselves, their company, and their name. And they went around the room, and there's two guys that couldn't do it. And the best that they can do, and I heard this a long time ago, I've never forgotten the story. They stood in the back of the room facing the wall, and then they could speak their name and their company. I didn't follow up with my friend. How did they do at the end of it? Of course, I presume that they had some breakthroughs. I've been looking at the clock here, and we're having so much fun. But I'd like you to share a few other things, differences that have come into your life since you were studying with Bob, Think and Grow Rich.
There's been a lot. I had some real horrible experiences in my life since then.
No, John, the good things. The challenges.
The good things that have come from it is, number one, I have the best marriage on the planet now. I had a marriage that ended after over 30 years. It wasn't easy, but it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. But it was a very difficult time in my life. It was very dark, and it was hard to stay positive. And I ended up in the hospital for a couple of months in one stretch, and was told that, I wouldn't be off oxygen for the rest of my life. They were going to amputate my legs from the knees down, and I wouldn't be able to walk. And that was a fear barrier that was not fun to get through. But when I finally was determined, I'm like, no, that ain't going to happen. I will never be on oxygen for the rest of my life. I will walk again, and you aren't taking my leg. And that was 3 years ago. And during that time frame, I learned how to use this process to overcome everything, not just attain my goals, but to change who I am, to look at everything in a different fashion. I look at life totally different. I'm at peace all the time. I don't let anything bother me anymore. These were things, and it used to happen all the time. You can vouch for this. I was political for many years. I don't do that anymore because it's not healthy. Do I keep up on it? Yeah. Do I have my own political views? Yeah, but I don't do that because it's not good for me. It's not good for my wife, and it doesn't move me closer to my goals. I had the goals I had during this time, and I needed to move closer to them. So I felt like I was going further and further back. I know this is kind of emotional, but I couldn't do that. It wasn't acceptable anymore. I'm like, I got to get through this fear barrier. And I talked to you several times. My now lovely, beautiful wife got me through it. I am absolutely happily married because of this program and how it works, and how when you decide to do something and put your mind to it and start thinking about what do I need to do and changing for yourself. And I want to stress this. I didn't change for my wife. I didn't change for Sid. I didn't change for my children. I didn't change for my grandchildren. I didn't change for anybody but John, because John had to become a better person. And one of the things I learned from this is that it's not selfish to love yourself, because if you don't know how to love who you are and what you want to be, you are incapable of loving anybody else unconditionally and helping them move forward. I can't make any of those decisions for you. I can show you, as we've discussed, how to do that. how to get through the difficulties you're having. And the only reason I'm sharing this is because I want people to understand how this process kept me from the grave. And that's a fact. And it's because I chose to embrace it fully. I said, okay, I am thinking in the results. I went back while I was in the hospital bed, read through the thinking in results, did the little worksheets, and just drove into it. And it's made a huge difference. I'm not struggling financially. I'm not perfectly better off, but during that time, I got all my training done. That was a chore, but I got it all done. And now I'm in the process of marketing myself, but it's putting that one foot in front of the other and just moving forward. Every day I make sure I do something that helps me get closer to these goals that I have sitting right here in front of me. And it's all due to how I'm thinking and the fact that I think about it all the time. And you have to have a very emotional reason for wanting to do that, because emotion is what changes us. You change your paradigm for two reasons. And Bob has said this, and if you take the courses, you'll hear this. Probably put more eloquently than I can do it, but you either change because of a dramatic event or you change emotionally over time. Both of these are emotional shocks to the system that causes you to move in a different direction. 9/11, for example, was a huge shock to our system as a country, and it forced us to move in a different direction. Me being sick was a shock to my system and forced me to redirect and move in a different direction. And now I see the results of that and go, I can do that in everything in my life. And I apply it to literally everything, whether it's paying the bills, if I need money to fix my vehicle or do something, I apply this. Okay. I open up my mind, open up the universe, say, all right, the money's here. I can expect it tomorrow. And I walk away and I don't worry about it. I just go, it's here. And I'm thankful for it. That's why we say that. Gratitude is probably the greatest emotion with the exception of fear. Would you agree?
John, can you hear that airplane?
I can, yes. Well, I live, we're 3,000 miles apart. You got an airplane from it's not McCarran anymore.
No, it's a small aircraft.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, I get military planes because of where I'm at in Florida, they literally fly overhead.
well, we do get some helicopters, but I slid my window open earlier because it's so beautiful outside.
Yeah, we got rain today.
And I didn't have a chance to close it because it was quiet, and then the plane showed up. Yeah, we're kind of winding this up. This is really great, John. Real quick, I was just going to share the changes in my life. I was able to lose some weight that I've been wanting to lose for some time. I've got my finances in order. I was usually never had a budget. Now it's I balance it every month, doing more fun things. And I have a girlfriend, and I had not a great relationship. And I've laughed more from going out with her and just finding funny things that sometimes I can't speak, or both of us, from our laughing. And
that's the best part of a relationship, laughing together.
And I'm not bragging, but it came to my mind. I do like to share it that I'm 83, and Bob's motto is also never stop learning. I was retired till I encountered Bob 10 years ago, and saw what he was doing, and I want to share that. And that's why I'm a consultant with Thinking and Results. And I don't see my website. Sid Maestre thinkingandresults.com is the website where you can get in touch with me. I'm looking at the clock up in the corner. We've gone over 30 minutes. So we'll see you next week. And tell your friends about this. We'd love to share this information on our stories.
Absolutely.
And out there is Sid Maestre thinkingandresults.com. Hit the contact and reach out. I'd love to have a conversation and talk about your goals and see if I might be able to help you. Thank you. John, we'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.